All right, guys, good morning. I'm meteorologist Caroline Carithers alongside meteorologist John Nodar, and we are hopping on Facebook Live here because we are weather alert today. We've got a lot going on in the News 5 neighborhood here as we have severe weather, of course, that is just starting to move into the News 5 neighborhood. We have watches, we have alerts, we have rough surf, we have all kinds of stuff to update you on. So we're going to do this kind of in a longer form than we can do on TV, and we're going to go ahead and get started here with the newest information. This was just issued by the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center here. Tornado watch for the entire News 5 neighborhood until 5 p.m. Now keep in mind, what does a tornado watch mean? A tornado watch means that the conditions are there, the conditions are favorable for tornadoes to occur. And we've certainly seen that so far with this storm system back off to the west in places like Louisiana and Texas and moving into Mississippi as well. So this is for the entire News 5 neighborhood over the next several hours. So here is the big picture of things here. We've got a system currently back off to the west, and if you look out ahead of it, it's messy, right? This is not one of those solid skinny lines that's going to move right through very quickly and we can time it out exactly county by county. It's a bit of a messier situation here. We're just starting to see storms work their way into our Mississippi counties, but look back behind that. We've got rounds of thunderstorms expected throughout the rest of the morning into the afternoon and into the evening and overnight hours as well. It's not going to be raining 100% of the time. It's not going to be severe weather 100% of the time. It is going to come in those rounds. So looking at our radar here, here's what we're looking at. Just starting to see these storms work their way into our Mississippi counties here. So I can zoom in on some of these storms for you here, and we can kind of take a tour of it here. Let me turn off that box zoom. But Greene County just mainly seeing that light rain currently. We've got some heavier rain moving through McLean into Leaf and into Leakesville as well. Down south, a little bit further south into George County, we've got Loosedale, Central, Avent, Barton getting in on some of that heavy rain, Bendale as well. Got some lightning, got some thunder in these storms. These are not severe at this time, so we're not seeing any severe weather currently, but these are strong thunderstorms, especially this one here is probably our strongest storm in the News 5 neighborhood right now. Look at all that lightning with this storm, heavy rain, gusty winds, likely 30, 40 miles per hour here, and we're seeing this extend into Mobile County as well. So this is likely going to be our strongest storm that we're seeing currently. Again, heavy rain, lightning, thunder, gusty winds as well. So what we're going to be watching for throughout the day today is going to be damaging winds, 70, 80 miles per hour plus, in addition to a tornado threat. So spin up tornadoes are going to be very, very likely here throughout the rest of the morning and into the afternoon hours. Now, as far as what other alerts we have in place, I'm going to bring in meteorologist John Nodar here, and he's going to catch you up on all that information.
All right, we have lots of advisories and watches and warnings to share with you this morning. So let's start off with the wind advisory for gusty winds that will be on the order of 20 to 30 miles per hour and gusting upwards of 45. That's outside of thunderstorms, which create their own winds. So just know it is going to be very windy and windy enough to affect your driving, especially on the long bridges that we have so many of in our part of the world. The current wind gusts are not that impressive, but they're in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, so nothing to sneeze at. Still, it's going to get windier as the afternoon progresses. Here's the flood watch that encompasses pretty much the entire News 5 neighborhood. A lot of folks will be getting a lot of rain. Most of us are going to see something in this zone around 2 to 4, maybe 5 inches of rain, but there may be a few spots that get more. If you get under a particularly heavy thunderstorm, that potential is out there. So just know that a few spots could see flooding, and it can happen pretty quickly. I think you may already know if you're in a low-lying area that is prone to that sort of thing. Coastal flood advisory is a different kind of flooding. This is just simply where the strong southerly winds and the persistent southerly winds will push water from the Gulf or from the bays up into the land. And we see that very often across the causeway in Mobile to Baldwin County, and also the causeway that runs alongside Mobile Bay heading down to Dauphin Island. This can also occur in places like Shell Belt Road in Coden and or Shell Belt Road in Biola Battery and Coden Belt Road in Coden. So those are things to watch for. High surf warning, pretty much self-explanatory. You're looking at 5 to 8 foot breaking waves in the surf zone, and with that you've got a high risk of extremely dangerous rip currents. So the point is you don't want to be in the water on a day like today. Whether you're swimming or boating for that matter, small craft advisory in effect right now for seas 5 to 8 feet. And later today, that is going to be bumped up to a gale warning. So again, the smart thing to do, obviously, is just stay out of the water, and then you're in good shape there. But this will be coming in a couple of rounds, more than likely. There's some disagreement, or I shouldn't even say disagreement. It's just messy how this system is moving in, and it could mean that we get one fairly large round of severe weather during the day, or maybe two, one in the day and one in the evening.
Right, John. Yeah, that's what we're tracking. It's a bit of a tricky system. Like I've been saying, it's really messy, right? This is not the really organized line of storms it's moving through. It's more of a cluster of storms, a complex of storms. So I'm going to walk you through the forecast model, but you got to take this with a grain of salt, right? Because models are guidelines. It's not ground truth, and we look at a lot of different models to see what we think is going to happen, and this one's closest to what we think is going to happen. So as far as the forecast model here, we'll go ahead and fast forward to 11 a.m. You see those storms continuing to work into Mobile County, Washington County, George County, Greene County, Jackson County, but I want you to notice, look what's back off to the west. So got a long way to go after lunchtime. So let's get to 1 p.m. Here comes the really big complex of storms starting to work its way into our area. So we are looking at heavy rain, likely damaging winds, likely tornadoes as well is certainly a possibility with that tornado watch in place. Again, we're going to continue to see outside of storms, like John was saying, really breezy conditions, rough surf's going to continue. So we're going to see all of these things happening throughout the day today. Now, as we get to 2:30 mid-afternoon, we'll start to see things start to cross the I-65 corridor. So this is 2:30. Notice that timestamp there. Starting to see the leading edge of this moving south and east of I-65. Now, as we get to 4 p.m., so closer to dinner time, late afternoon, you see this bowing signature here. That's basically means damaging winds is going to be the main threat at this point. But again, we can't rule out brief spin-up tornadoes within this complex of storms too. Now, as we move into dinner time, let's say 6:37, this was what John was talking about. Once that main kind of bowing complex of storms moves out of our area, we still have this left over. Now, whether or not it will be severe or could be severe depends on how the first round plays out. So if the first round, really generates a lot in the way of severe weather, and rainfall could stabilize our atmosphere a little bit, and maybe these storms wouldn't pose as much of a severe weather threat. However, if the severe weather ingredients are still intact, we could see another round of storms, these thunderstorms here, starting around dinner time and into the late evening hours. Now, the good news I will say is this will finally start to move out at around 11 p.m., which is good news. So 11 p.m. midnight. Now, I know that we're talking about a really long timeline. A severe weather window from now through 11 p.m. is a long time, but that is just the nature of the system, something that we're going to have to keep you updated on. But it does look to be out by the time we get to around midnight tonight, and then we'll start to see things wrap up. So as far as key takeaways go, severe weather threat, of course, is number one. We've got that level 4 of 5 risk in place for our northwestern counties, level 3 of 5 south and east of I-65. Got the tornado watch in place. We're also watching the chance for flooding, 2 to 4 inches of rain, as John was saying. Coastal flooding is also a possibility. We've got the advisory in place. Rough surf is a big thing, as John was saying. Stay out of the water, keep your boat out of the water. Life-threatening marine conditions here, and even outside of the storms, it will be pretty breezy as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the extended forecast. If you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and we'll answer some of those for you here in just a couple of minutes. But I wanted to show you the extended forecast. Of course, we are weather alert today with that 100% chance of rain. You're going to get wet today for sure. As far as the rain goes tomorrow, we're going to start to see things clear out early, And then look at that weekend, Friday, sunshine returns, temperatures will start to warm back up. We'll be into near 80 degrees by Saturday with mostly sunny skies.
All right, and just as you wrap up, we start hearing rain on the roof here at News 5.
Heard some thunder.
Folks have been reporting in on different places in West Mobile, particularly Schillinger Road, Montlamar Road, already seeing some rain and hearing some thunder. Grand Bay, you say it's moved through Grand Bay there, Tia, but I'm going to say this is just the very tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more coming to Grand Bay and everyone else, starting to rain on University as well. So yeah, folks that have been driving through Louisiana just passed through Slidell. They had a whopper of a storm there.
Right, and I did want to point out too, John, I forgot to point out, let's see if I can move this. There we go. We've got those tornado warnings just off to our west.
Yeah.
So moving into Gulfport, Picayune, Slidell, we've got tornado warnings moving in different directions, which is kind of weird, but we've got one moving from west to east. This is moving towards Jackson County, so something that we're watching for you very closely.
All right, and again, mostly this is just reports from folks. Baldwin County starting to hear a little thunder, Bellingrath Road as well, Grand Bay, Alabama. So yeah, folks are hearing what's going on and starting to see what's happening out there. And yeah, it's gonna be a long day of weather today.
It is, and we get those this time of year. You know, it's April. It's our spring severe weather season. Do we have any questions out there?
None that I see. The main point here is that typically when we get one of these fronts coming through, it's a pretty quick thing. The front moves through, it's all done. This one has a lot dragging in behind it, so it could be a long day.
All right. Well, we will be on News 5 at noon. We'll have all the latest information for you. Of course, if we get a tornado warning or we start to see things really ramp up, we will be cut into programming, go on air, keep you updated. We'll be keeping you updated on social media too, so you can follow all the First Alert Storm Team's pages. And if you type in WKRG.com, right on the homepage is the article that has every single thing that you could need to know.
It's really hard to avoid us, honestly.
We're here for you.
But do check in, especially on News 5 in case there are warnings. Have a plan. If there is a warning issued, know exactly where you're going to go so you don't have to search around and think about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to our Facebook Live. And of course, we'll continue to keep you updated online, on social media, and we'll see you on News 5 at noon as well.